Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone in today's class for the first intermediate grade. Our textbook is Super Goal 2, and today we will cover unit What Time Do You Get Up? The lessons from 6 to 11. This lesson will be presented by me, teacher Mazen Al-Harbi, so let's begin. Our objectives for today's lesson: we hope that at the end of this lesson you will be able to practice and answer questions from a conversation, and also number 2, to read about schools around the world, and number 3, to list the differences between schools, and also number 4, to discuss similarities and differences between schools after reading an email, and also number 5, to rewrite an email including prepositions by, to, in, and on, and lastly to compare simple present to present progressive. So let's begin on page 22. Here we have a conversation on page 22. We're going to listen to this conversation. After we listen, we're going to elicit some information about the conversation that was between Fahad and Ryan. So let's begin listening and then we will discuss.
Hi Ryan, where are you going?
To the gym. I usually work out for about an hour in the afternoon. Where are you off to?
To martial arts class.
That's awesome. What are you learning?
Well, right now, I'm learning some difficult karate moves, but sometimes we do special exercises to learn how to concentrate. Come along sometime.
Very well. Now we have listened to a conversation between Fahad and Ryan, and each one of them talk about an activity that he likes to do. For example, Ryan here said that I usually work out for about an hour in the afternoon. And what about Fahad? Fahad said that I usually learning some difficult karate moves, and sometimes we do special exercises to learn how to concentrate. So these are the activities that both Fahad and Ryan are doing at the moment. So now we're going to listen again, and this time let's have more details about what exactly each one of them is doing, and also we learn some expressions and vocabularies about it.
Hi Ryan, where are you going?
To the gym. I usually work out for about an hour in the afternoon. Where are you off to?
To martial arts class.
That's awesome. What are you learning?
Well, right now, I'm learning some difficult karate moves, but sometimes we do special exercises to learn how to concentrate. Come along sometime.
Very well. Now we have noticed when we listen for the second time that Fahad invited Ryan to join him to the club where he can learn more exercises and martial art classes, like karate moves, for example. So we're still waiting for Ryan's response. If you were in Ryan's place, which answer would you choose? So what does Ryan answer? Would he say no way, that he won't join this club? Or number 2, I can't do karate at all? Or number 3, do they teach taekwondo? So if you were in Ryan's place, which one would you choose? Is it 1, 2, or number 3? So we have, when we listen to the conversation, we have come across some expressions. The first one was, where are you off to? And such expression or such question usually we meant by this question is, where are you going? Where are you going? The second one, when you hear something and you said awesome, it meant that you mean really great. And number 3, no way, it means absolutely not. That is a firm no, by choosing or by saying no way. And about the conversation, here we have a couple of questions about the conversation we have heard between Ryan and Fahad. The first one is, what does Ryan usually do in the afternoons? So Ryan told us what exactly he usually do in the afternoon, which is he works out for about an hour. And number 2, what kind of lesson does Fahad have? Fahad said that he has a karate lesson, and also he said he has a martial arts classes. And number 3, what is he learning now? Right now he said that he is learning some difficult karate moves, as he said in the conversation. Now it is your turn. Here we have an interesting exercise where you can find someone in your class who does each of these activities. So in this chart you have a list of activities. Just think of any classmate you can think of, or a family member, or even a friend, and just write down the name of the person who does these activities. For example, name a person who usually goes to bed after 11 o'clock. Find someone who takes a shower or a bath at night. Find someone who does homework late in the evening. And find someone who never watches TV after dinner. And find someone who sometimes walks to school. And find someone who takes karate lessons. So here you can think of different people doing all of these different activities. And now it is your turn. Now those question is about you. Tell us, do you take any lessons and what kind? So like Fahad and Ryan, do you take martial arts lessons? Do you take or do you go to the gyms to take some fitness lesson, for example? Number two, what do you usually do on Saturdays? What are the things that you like to do on Saturdays? Here you can use the word usually by saying, I usually play, I usually practice. And number three, what do you never do on Saturdays? So tell us what are the things that you never do by using the adverb never. You can say, I never play football on Saturdays. I never go shopping on Saturdays. You can think as many activities as you like. Those questions are about you, so just think of them and try to answer them. Now, the second part we have on page 23, which is reading. And before we start reading, let's answer this question. Do you have a school newspaper or a web page? And what information does it have? So as you know that different schools from different parts of the world usually have a newspaper or a web page. And the kind of information they have on this page is that they can talk about the activities, they can talk about the school clubs that they have on the school. So just think of it and tell us what kind of information, if you already have or if you're going to have a web page, that the school should put in such pages. Now we're going to listen on page 23. We're going to listen about school days, school around the world. We're going to listen to two different people from two parts of the world, two different parts of the world, talking about their school. The first one we have here is Ahmed. Let's begin by reading Ahmed's text. Ahmed, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. I usually arrive at school before 7 a.m. Assembly is at 6:45 and we always sing the Saudi national anthem. After assembly, we go straight to the classroom. We have 6 classes a day. Each one lasts 45 minutes. We only leave our classroom for subjects like computer, PE, and art. School finishes at 1 p.m., but there is an optional 7th period for students who want extra tutoring. There are after-school clubs. I am a member of the football club, so I sometimes stay after school and play football. So here we have read Ahmed's text from Jeddah, and he talks about his school, how it's started, and also what time does it finish. And now let's listen to the other person. His name is Jose from Amazon rainforest from Ecuador. My school is in a village on the Aguarico River. I live far from the school, so I need to get up at 5 a.m. I go to school by canoe, but when it rains a lot, I stay at home. Our school has 46 students and 2 classrooms. There are 2 teachers, one for grades 1 to 3, the other for grades 4 to 6. We study all the subjects in Quechua, our first language, but we also learn Spanish. Our school has a generator for electricity and it has a computer. Now for the second text here we listened from Jose. You can see some differences between his school and Ahmed's school from Jeddah. So here we have listened to two different schools, two different conditions of schools from two different parts of the world. Now, you can underline or at least list the things and activities that are different from your school and compare it with a partner. So we have Jose's school, we have Ahmed's school, and your school. So think of all of these schools and try to write down a list of the similarities and the differences between each one of them. You will see a lot of things that will impress you because each school could differ in one way or another from each other. Now, on page 24 in a writing page, we're going to read an email from a Japanese student in middle school. With a partner, try to discuss what is the same or different about your school. So it's kind of similar to what we said with the reading text. When we listen to Ahmed's school and Jose's school and compare it with our school, now we're going to listen to a third person from different part of the world, from Japan, and he's going to talk about his school. Let's read what he has to say about his school, and we can discuss about the similarities and the differences between his schools and ours. Hi Said, it is fun to have a pen pal in another country. We can practice English. Today I want to tell you about middle school in Japan. I usually get up at 7:15. I put on my school uniform, prepare my school bag and eat breakfast. Then I go to school by bus. Other students go on foot or by train. Our school day begins at 8:30. Before classes, we meet in our homeroom for assembly. We have 6 classes a day, 4 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. We study subjects like language, math, science, social studies, technology, health, and PE, and art. Each class is 50 minutes long with a 5-minute break between classes. We have lunch at 12:30. Everyone brings lunch from home and we always eat in our homeroom. School ends at 3:30. Before we go home, we all help to clean the school. There are also many clubs and after-school activities. For example, I play baseball twice a week and I am in the English club. That is how I met you. On these days, I usually leave school at 5. What's middle school like in Saudi Arabia? Write back soon, your friend Katyo. So here we can see that our friend Katyo from Japan talked about the middle school in Japan. And also he said what time does it start and what time does it finish and what does he usually do after school from different activities. So now it is your turn to think of writing a similar email. Just write down the activities that you would like, that you usually do before going to school and during school, and also, as he said, after the school. And we're going to see later a chart that explains this. Now, before you write anything, here we have a simple information about writing the transportation. For example, when you're talking about a transportation or a vehicle, try to use by, okay? For example, you can say by car, by bus, by plane. So we always use by when we're talking about a vehicle. But we say on when we're talking about food. For example, if you're usually walking to school, you cannot say by foot. It's better to say on foot. This is the right way to say it. So for example, Katyu goes to school by bus. Other students go on foot or by train. So when talking about vehicles, we use by. When you're talking about food, we use on. The second information here I would like you to pay attention to, which is to. To shows the direction. For example, when we say he goes to school by bus. So to here indicates a direction. In shows location. For example, where are the students or where would they meet? Students meet in their homeroom. So in tells where exactly. We use in for location. So we use by for a vehicle of transportation, we use to for a direction, and we use in a location. So as we said, here we have a chart. Just look at the writing task we have with the Japanese student and try to list or write down the things that you usually do before school, and also the things that you do in school hours and classes, and also the activities that you do after school. So here we have wrote similar sample sentences or answers. For example, we usually do before school, we get up early, I prepare my bag and eat breakfast. And the things that I do during classes or during school hours, that I read my homework and hang out with my classmate in the break times. And also the activities that I do after school, which is play football and do my homework before sleep. So you can think of extra activities or further activities other than these that you do before school, during school, and also after school. And now, after you write or after you fill this chart, try to write an email to a pen pal about typical day. Just think of our friend Katyo and write a similar email to him and write down the activities that we agree that you already wrote on the chart and to send it to him, and you see the comparison between your school and Katyo's school. As a project, I would like you to do research on the routines of schools around the world. Write how they are similar or different from your school. So in this unit, we have information about how schools like in Ecuador and also in Japan and also in Saudi Arabia. So you can have a list and you can compare between them and find some differences and also some similarities between them, and you will see an interesting information about them. Now, on page 25, form, meaning, and function, here we have a very important rule, which is the difference between simple present and present progressive. We usually use the simple present to talk about permanent actions, like habit or routines. We mean by a permanent that is something lasts for many long. This is a permanent, something that rarely changes. For example, the student usually write tests every month. The students usually write tests every month. So this is a kind of habit or routine that the student usually do in classes. And notice here, when we're using the simple present, we don't make any changes to the verb, as you can see here. Write. We didn't make any changes to this verb. And also, as for the present progressive, we use present progressive to talk about temporary actions that are happening right now at this moment. For example, for me, right now, I am talking to you. Right now, I am standing in front of the screen. And here we have the example we have here is the students are writing a test at the moment. So since this is at the moment, since this is something that is happening now, here we add ing to the verb. This is what do you mean by the present progressive. It means that we're talking about actions that are happening right now. So again, as we said, the simple present, we use it to talk about permanent actions like habits or routines, and present progressive to talk about temporary, not permanent, it's temporary actions that are happening right at this moment. So here we have an example that combines them both. The example said, Saeed lives in Jeddah, but he is studying in Riyadh this year. Saeed lives in Jeddah, so his permanent place or his permanent residence is Jeddah. And right now he is studying in Riyadh this year. So you see how we change the verb from one sentence to another. So this is a permanent action, and this is the temporary action, as we said. Now, follow this rule, an interesting exercise. Here I would like you to choose the correct verb for each sentence, and whether the verb is in present progressive or in a simple present. So number one, Nawal plank her homework at the moment. And since we said at the moment, what do you think the answer is? Very good. The answer here will be is doing. Nawal is doing her homework at the moment. Number two, plank to come to the mall with us. So how can we start this question? Do we say A, do you want? Or B, want you? Or C, are you wanting? Very good. We choose A, do you want? Number three, the scientist plank the cause of the problem. So is it A, B, or C? And notice that here there is nothing that indicates it's happening right now. So which one would you choose? Very good. Here we would choose C, do not know. Number four, look, the children plank in the lake. So by having a look at the word look, it seems that this is something happening right at this moment. So here we would choose A, are swimming. 5. The moon plank around the earth. So this one, which one would we choose? A, B, or C? Very good. Here we choose C. Why? The moon goes around the earth. This is the habits of the moon. This is the routine of the moon, that it goes around the earth. Number 6. Abdullah sometimes plank his bike to school. And since we say sometimes, here we choose rides, because using, as we learned, the adverbs of frequency, always, usually, sometime, it means for a habits or routine. We usually use it for a simple present. Number 7. Jassim has a part-time job, but he planked today. So he has a part-time job, but today there is something different, is that he isn't working. Isn't working. Number 8. Plank in your country in the winter. So is it A, does it snows, or is it snowing? Very good. Here we choose does it snow, because we're talking about something that usually happens in a country. Number 9. Please be quiet. The baby plank right now. And by having the look of right now, here we can choose ing verb. C is sleeping. And the last one, listen. The tourists plank for directions in English. And since he said listen, it means that this is something present, happening at this moment. We choose B, are asking. Now, the other exercise we have here, we need to put the verbs in parentheses into the present progressive or simple present. The first one, your email every day. And the verb we have between parentheses is you, the subject, and check. So how can we make question about something that happens every day? Very well. Here we choose, do you check your email every day? And number 2, look at them. They plank horses on the beach. And the verb is right. So which tense we should put this verb? Is it simple or present progressive? Very good, present progressive, because he said look at them. It means that is something happening right now. Number 3, I plank this exercise. Can you explain it again? And the verb we should use is not and understand. Very well. Here we should choose I do not understand this exercise. Number 4. We plank to the park. Would you like to come with us? And since this is something, a kind of habit, this is something happening right now, we use are going. We are going to the park. Would you like to come with us? And number 5. Majid usually plank at the gym 3 times a week. And the verb we should use is work out. And since we are using usually the adverbs of frequency, here we use the simple present tense. And number 6, what time plank in the morning? And here we have you, the subject, usually the adverb, and wake up. And since there is an adverb frequency, we should of course use the simple present. What time do you usually wake up in the morning? Number 7, plank the newspaper. Can I have a look at it, please? And the verb we should use is read and the subject you. So here we're going to use the present progressive. Are you reading the newspaper? Can I have a look at it? It means that this is something happening at this moment. Number 8. Fatima always blank her teeth after dinner. And here we use the time expression after. We always use the time expression with a simple present. Brushes her teeth. Number 9. Khalid has football after school. So he is not coming home early. He is not coming home early. So this is what he do after school in the first half. So the other half is we're using the present progressive. Number 10, my father's car is at the mechanics, so he plank the bus to work. So since it is at the mechanic right now, he is taking the bus to work. So here we have answered the second exercise about the differences between the simple present and the present progressive. And now we have reached the end of our lesson. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.